The Athene Real Talk Podcast explores controversial ideas to stimulate debate and active thinking. These ideas do not always reflect Athene's personal views. Welcome to the Athene Real Talk Podcast.
He has been called the best gamer in the world, hands down.
World-famous gamer and philanthropist Athene.
Gaming for Good, it's called, has raised more than $20 million.
Using his notoriety to raise money for charity.
On activism, science, culture, and self-development.
Proud to have him in the studio today. I would not want to take you on in a video game.
Life is about me. If I didn't live, universe wouldn't exist. Well, Mr. Loud, please, I would agree with you. That doesn't make any sense. How can you agree with what I just said? It contradicts everything you say. No, because it's about the me you're talking about. If you define the me properly, then life is about me as well. Because everything around me is part of what I am. But the thing is, when you say life is about me, you don't define me in a proper way. You define me in a narrow-minded, selfish way, and then I would disagree with you. Because that me you're talking about, that defines whether the universe exists or not, includes the entire universe. Because everything had to happen for this me to even exist, to begin with. Everything is interconnected. Your environment is part of it. So when you say like it's about me, if you define me in the most universal way, then I would agree with you. But hey, you don't do that. When you talk about life is about me, you see it from a selfish perspective. Because if you didn't, then you wouldn't even say life is about me. You would say more life is about others than about me. Because others is more part of what you are than you yourself. Because if it wasn't for others, you would actually have less of what is left of what you are than if it was just about you. Others define more what you are than you yourself. The language you use, the culture you breed, everything is more defined by others than by you. So when you start realizing that, then yeah, but the me you're talking about is more about others than you. So even then, you agree with me. But hey, then again, haven't really given that much thought, right? I don't even know if these arguments even do something. Because even though this makes all so nicely sense, you'd still crawl into your selfish scalp and say like, nah, it's not because, what I say is true or not. It's because you don't care about honesty. You don't care about what I say whatsoever. You care about yourself more than anything. So even if you have to bend the truth or the facts, if it benefits you, why not? That's the difference between me and you. If I see that I'm lying to myself, I try to find the truth, try to find the inconsistency and work on that. I don't hold all the answers, but I definitely know that every answer has a logical answer though. And that's what I try to do, figure it out. Why is cancer cancer? Cancer is an organism that doesn't take its host into account, and as a result just feeds and feeds, and as a result just ends up killing the host. It's just wanting to take and take and take. That's what cancer is. On the other hand, what isn't cancer is something that works in symbiosis. Making life about you is cancer. You just want to take and take and take and never ends. I've been thinking about you selfish fucks. I have all the information, I understand everything that is going on, and I still choose to be that monster. Be that selfish monster that doesn't care, doesn't give a shit about the world, even though it has all the information in front of him. And I was thinking, okay, why is that the case? Why is it so that even though I'm giving all the information, everything is right in front of you, some of you guys, most of you guys, are still selfish fucks, that this information almost doesn't even get through to you. So what I was thinking was, what is the problem? What is it that makes people still be gravitating towards this selfishness, even though the other way around makes so much more sense? Of course, because they don't care about it. But I started doing some read up, because I already talked about the scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset. And the difference between the scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset is that when you're in scarcity, you just feel like you lack something and you're constantly taking and taking, while in your abundance mindset, you're more giving. But the way it translates is as follows, and this is really interesting. And I haven't really talked about this so much in the past, even though it's quite a lot implied. But I will give you guys a little bit more information. Your brain is 3 brains. It's not one brain. There is the prefrontal cortex that is the most advanced. Then you have the subconscious brain, that is the mammal brain. And then you have the reptilian brain, which is the most primitive one. And basically what you have is you have top-down communication from prefrontal cortex to subconsciousness to the more reptilian part of the brain, and there is bottom-up from reptilian to subconscious to prefrontal cortex. And the problem now is as follows. If you feel like you lack something on a fundamental level, then what happens is you block the top-down line of communication. Your IQ literally gets lowered, and there's quite a lot of neuroscientific research in that regards, how you just become more primitive-like. While if you don't feel like you lack something, you have the ability to open up this channel between top-down rather than just being constantly influenced by bottom-up, and you become less impulsive and more thought-through. So now that I explained this, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and it's a very fascinating one. My question to you guys, and you guys can type it in the chat, is if I ask you, when you have to say the emotion of love, what is it you think about? Is it like trust? Is it warmth? Is it comfort? When you have to just describe what the emotion of love brings up as an emotion, what is it you think about? Because what I'm going to tell you guys now is really crazy. And it's very important for you to really think like, okay, what is the emotion of love? What is it that brings me about? Because, and this is my other question, imagine if the emotion of love is fully saturated, whether it is happiness or warmth or safety or trust, would you be able to experience fear? When you think about love, the emotions that is brought about, if all of these are fully saturated, would you be able to experience fear? It is quite an important question, because when people say like, yeah, of course, if someone points a gun at me, I'll have fear. But the thing is like, you have to just imagine everything you love is completely saturated. So there is nobody pointing a gun at you. Like, would you still have fear? That's my question. If everything that love entails, the emotion that brings about, is fully saturated, do you think you will be in fear? Let me tell you guys something. And this is something that can help you guys quite a bit, because it's quite fascinating. The reptilian brain, which is the most basic part of the brain, is the seed of your actions. It's where everything originates from. And your reptilian brain works very simple. It just works with fear and love. And what is fear and love? It's basically what you think you lack. That's all. The reptilian brain just works with what it lacks, and what it doesn't lack, it just takes for granted. That's it. It just doesn't exist. You can actually grow and have food and everything taken care of, don't safety, whatever. If you have something that you lack, it will translate in something you love. So if you say like, love for me brings about ideas like trust, then it's because you're lacking it. And if you don't lack it at all, like if there's nothing in the love equation you lack, then you automatically become actualized. You go up in your pyramid of needs, to put it that way. But what is very interesting, though, to understand is that love is what translates to what you lack more so than what love is. So let's say, for example, if I would ask someone that has serious troubles with finding a girlfriend or whatever, what is it that you love the most? He will say like, yeah, finding a partner. Love is a partner. If you have an issue with trust, then you will say love is trust. The thing is though, what you love will then translate into your behavior. I want to say something, because it's very important. If you understand this dynamic, it can really give you a lot of understanding in what drives you. Because certain people love something that doesn't even exist. And what I mean with that is like certain lacks that are no lacks at all, because you are in a situation where you're safe, you are in a situation where everything is fine, your reptilian brain is saturated. It's not like you're in the jungle, but yet it gets triggered because you get conditioned in beliefs of what you have to lack, and as a result you start loving that shit. You start loving comfort. You start loving freedom. Depending on how you grew up, you're going to start being attached to these certain concepts, because you feel like you lack them. And the fear that comes out of it brings about the love in things. And that is what initiates your selfish mindset. But the problem is that if I want to try and get through to you guys through top down, through reason, it doesn't work. Because if you're in this scarcity, you can't even process what I'm saying. It's very hard. But what you can understand is though like, okay, what is it that you love? What are the emotions? What does it bring about? And if you understand that what you love is more defined by what you fear rather than what you love, it can really get you to think on a fundamental level what drives you. It can help you quite a bit, because it all boils down to being safe. It's something you have to realize yourself. But it really allows you to very easily understand what your core value is. You just got to wonder what the emotion of love, what is it that brings it about? And then you already very clearly know what you value. And I want to give you guys a little example, because I went around here and I asked people a question like, when you think about love, what is it that you think? Certain people said the following, and it's quite fascinating to just be able to read people. Some people said trust, warmth. Some people said presence, comfort. Some people said trust, safety. Some people said loyalty. Some people said giving. Some people said good in the world, just a feeling of goodness. I said myself understanding. Like, to me, love is just understanding. That's it. Love is understanding. And basically what drives every single one of them is the fear of losing what they love. So you keep giving. Like, if you love giving on a fundamental level, it's a very unsaturated thing to love, because you can keep sustaining it by giving. Same with understanding. You can keep sustaining it by understanding more and more. Same with doing good in the world. But when it's comfort, for example, then you put yourself in a hard spot, because you're actually loving something that you think brings safety and makes you keep safe, but it does the opposite. And it puts you in this scarcity mindset where you just want more and more and more. That's why being spoiled is not always the best thing. I don't know if this helps you guys, but it's something for you guys to think about.
Subscribe to youtube.com/AtheneWins. Watch the live stream at twitch.tv/AtheneLive and follow The Real Athene on Snapchat.